We've all experienced that specific surge of adrenaline on a Monday morning. You've just come back from a high-energy professional seminar, your notebook is overflowing with ideas, and you're ready to overhaul your entire bracket inventory, rewrite every management protocol, and flip every system in your clinic upside down. But we also know what happens next. Within 2 weeks, that initial enthusiasm hits the wall of reality. You find yourself overthinking the minor details, how to sort the old stock, or how to minimize every conceivable risk, until the momentum simply dies. This is a classic psychological pitfall for clinical leaders. We tell ourselves we're being thorough and professional, but in the world of lean orthodontics, we have to recognize it for what it actually is: a sophisticated form of procrastination. The desire to implement changes perfectly creates a friction that can paralyze even the most experienced doctor. Often the fear isn't actually failure, it's the temporary disruption caused by an imperfect execution. We wait for the flawless launch, and while we wait, our progress stalls. Perfectionism doesn't lead to excellence, it leads to paralysis. True lean methodology emphasizes immediate action and rapid iteration over exhaustive upfront planning. As clinical leaders, we must recognize the crucial difference between necessary, structured preparation and continuous stalling. If you spend months overanalyzing a new inventory management software because you're worried about a messy transition, you're choosing the guaranteed cost of an inefficient legacy system over the minor, correctable errors of progress. The risk of starting imperfectly is almost always lower than the guaranteed cost of prolonged inaction. One of the biggest dangers of this perfectionist mindset is the myth of the total overhaul. If your clinical team currently takes 90 minutes to bond a multiband appliance, and you set an elite goal of reaching a 15-minute standard by next week, the gap is simply too large. That impossible standard creates a sense of failure before the journey even begins. Attempting to revolutionize every department, from clinical flow to financial systems, simultaneously is a recipe for fragmentation and severe team burnout. Radical, non-staggered change lacks the foundational support needed for long-term mastery. You might invest heavily in the most advanced intraoral scanning equipment, but if the team isn't given a gradual schedule to master the preliminary steps, that technology becomes a source of stress rather than a tool for efficiency. Real dental leadership understands that perfection is not a static state. It is a dynamic process of continuous, positive change. To move your practice forward, you must prioritize small, sustainable steps over massive, heroic leaps. This is why I advocate for the minimum viable change, or MVC. This is the smallest, most focused action that delivers a measurable, positive improvement. Instead of trying to redesign your entire practice, start by standardizing the delivery of post-operative instructions or revising a single patient consent process. These small, successful projects build the organizational muscle and team confidence needed to handle larger changes later. Sustainable growth is built on a reliable foundation of small, repeated victories, not a single transformation effort that leaves the team overwhelmed. This leads us to the 1% rule. Instead of trying to be perfect tomorrow, aim for a 5% improvement today. This is a firm commitment to scientifically auditing your current clinical and administrative processes to find marginal gains. It requires us to move past subjective gut feelings and apply objective measurements, such as time-motion analysis. I encourage you to use a stopwatch to accurately track the time spent on specific phases of a patient visit, from check-in to chair dismissal. If the preclinical setup is consistently taking 2 minutes longer than it should, that becomes your isolated, measurable target for immediate refinement. When you focus on refining single steps, the cumulative effect on your practice performance is massive. Consider a simple archwire change. If an assistant takes just 30 seconds longer per patient, and you see 50 patients in an afternoon, you've created 25 minutes of unnecessary overtime and team friction. By refining that one micro-task by only 15 seconds, you cut that stress in half. This is how you achieve operational excellence, not through one giant change, but through 1,000 small ones. Apply the same logic to material handling and supply chain management. If reorganizing a cabinet or improving labeling saves 10 seconds of searching for a specific bonding agent, the accumulated time savings across a full week will free up significant staff hours. Those saved minutes can be directly reinvested into higher value activities, such as patient education or advanced staff training. Operational excellence is simply the strategic sum of tiny, daily, and repeatable improvements. At the end of the day, improvement is an endless journey of small steps, whereas perfectionism is just a barrier that keeps you stuck at the starting line. By letting go of the need for an immediate overhaul, you allow your practice to evolve naturally into a highly efficient system. Stop planning for a perfect start and simply start refining what you have. The most competitive practices are not those that wait for the ideal moment or the perfect technology. They are the ones who began implementing measurable improvements immediately, accepting that the very first iteration of any new process will always be imperfect. Clinical progress is about iterating quickly and learning from executed actions, not from protracted theoretical planning. True strategic advantage lies in continuous, documented forward motion, transforming the perceived risk of starting imperfectly into a necessary foundation for accelerated growth. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.